Once upon a time, in ancient India, there lived a poor but wise potter named Ravi. He had no education, wore torn clothes, and lived in a humble hut by the river bank. One day, the king announced a contest. Let the most eloquent man in the kingdom come forth and advise me for a day. If his words hold wisdom, he shall dine with me daily. If not, he shall never speak in court again. Many noblemen and scholars prepared themselves with polished speeches, rehearsing verses from scriptures and quoting philosophers. But on the day of the contest, it was Ravi, the humble potter, who took the floor. With calm grace and simple words, he spoke of the sun that never asks for applause, of the river that flows without pride, and of the pot that holds life's water yet asks for nothing in return. His voice was soft, but his thoughts thundered through the hearts of the listeners. The king sat spellbound. When Ravi finished, the palace was silent. The king rose and said, "You have never stepped into a school, yet your words are more noble than any I've heard. You have taught me today that one's class is not declared by birth or wealth, but by how they speak, and more so, by what their words carry." From that day, Ravi became a close advisor to the king. Not because of his background, but because of the character his speech reflected, and so lived on the truth. No classroom ever teaches the art of speech, yet the way you speak reveals the class you truly belong to. This tale may be ancient, but the message it carries is timeless. We live in an era of education, qualifications, and endless degrees. We attend institutions that teach us math, science, history, and commerce. But rarely, if ever, are we taught the art of how to speak. Not just fluency, not just grammar, but the ability to communicate with empathy, elegance, honesty, and humility. Speech is not just a tool of expression. It is the mirror of our inner world. How we speak reflects how we think, how we treat others, and what we value. A kind word can build bridges where none existed. A cruel one can burn palaces to ash. What makes you truly elite is not the label on your college degree, but the tone you use with the waiter, the words you choose with your driver, the patience you show during a disagreement. There once lived a man named Karan in a crowded city. He had a sharp brain, a fancy job, and a loud voice. He believed status came from showing authority, so he barked orders, interrupted conversations, and used harsh words to assert control. In meetings, he made others feel small. At home, he rarely listened. In his heart, he believed he was powerful. But people only followed him out of fear, never out of respect. Then came a turning point. One evening, at a local cafe, Karan witnessed a young janitor spill a tray of cups. Shards scattered everywhere. The manager began yelling. But then, a customer in a simple kurta stood up and said, "It's all right, accidents happen. Let's help clean this up. No need for shame, only care." His voice was calm, his words gentle, yet they carried more weight than any shout. Everyone stopped. The angry silence softened. The janitor, on the verge of tears, looked up with gratitude. Karan couldn't forget that moment. He followed the man outside and asked, "Who are you? You're not the owner, yet they listen to you." The man smiled and replied, "The world listens not to loud voices, but two voices that carry warmth. Respect isn't claimed, it's conveyed in how you speak, especially to those who cannot repay you. That night, Karan went home and sat with his own silence. He realized that every rude word he ever spoke had built a wall between him and others. He had earned obedience but never loyalty, success but never peace. From that moment on, he began observing not just others but himself. He began practicing pausing before speaking, listening before replying, encouraging before correcting. Over time, people began responding differently. His team opened up. His children smiled more. His own heart felt lighter. His transformation wasn't taught in any workshop. It wasn't because of a mentor or a guide. It came from within, because real class isn't taught, it is chosen. Chosen in every sentence, every conversation, every pause. Language is free, but the way you use it can cost you relationships or win you hearts. A wise person once said, "You can tell the depth of a man not by the weight of his wallet, but by the gentleness of his words." The power of speech lies not in how loud you are, but how kind, clear, and truthful you are. You don't need to be fluent in 5 languages. You need to master just one thing: your tone. Words said in anger echo far longer than you intend. But words said in compassion, they linger in hearts forever. So choose them well. Choose to speak like a river, flowing, not crashing. Like a tree, grounded, not towering over. Like silence, steady, yet full of meaning. In today's world, where social media amplifies noise and public life rewards outrage, be the one who speaks with grace. Be the one whose words light a path, not set fire to bridges. Because the world has enough noise. What it lacks are voices that heal, inspire, and uplift. And remember, the greatest class is not found in your accent, your vocabulary, or your title, but in how you make people feel when you speak. Speak with kindness, not because the world is listening, but because you are. Speak with humility, not because you are less, but because you understand more. Speak with courage, not to impress, but to express. For no classroom can teach this, and no book can grade it. But the world always notices. Because in the end, the way you speak doesn't just show who you are, it whispers who you can become. And that is your real class. If this video inspired you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more motivation, and share it with someone who needs a boost today. Until next time, stay motivated, stay inspired, and keep shining. See you in the next video. Shubham Bhavtu.